Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're exploring something that most people feel, but very few truly understand: the silent tests in love and relationships. In a world that thrives on reaction, likes, comments, instant replies, and emotional explosions, not reacting might actually be your greatest strength. And sometimes it's the only way to pass the test she's silently giving you. You see, women don't always test you with direct words. Sometimes the real test is in how you handle the space, the silence, the unpredictability. When she pulls back, sends a confusing text, or says something that stirs your emotions, it's easy to react, to argue, to defend. But the moment you do, you may unknowingly fail the test of emotional discipline. In 2025's social media-driven world, where oversharing is normal and digital validation runs deep, emotional control is becoming a rare form of power. When you don't react immediately, you show her that your inner peace isn't for sale, that you're not just emotionally available, you're emotionally intelligent. As Viktor Frankl once said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom." So, when she tests you, through silence, distance, or even drama, your calmness becomes your clarity. Your patience becomes your proof of strength. You're not cold, you're collected. This video isn't about manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing that how you respond reveals who you really are. If you react impulsively, you reveal insecurity. But if you respond with presence, you reveal maturity. Today we're going to uncover 5 hidden truths, the subtle emotional tests she gives, and how silence, stillness, and grounded energy help you pass them. These aren't basic tips. They're real-life tools drawn from psychology, human behavior, and deep emotional insight. So, if you've ever been confused by her pullbacks or mixed signals, or if you're tired of always reacting and regretting it, this is your moment to learn a higher path. Let's go start. Number 1. Her silence is not distance. It's a mirror of your discipline. When she goes silent, it's not always about disinterest or detachment. It's a moment of reflection. And in that reflection, she's watching not what you say, but what you become. This isn't a game. It's a deep, unspoken test to see if you can hold your center when the emotional waters are rising. If you react impulsively, emotionally, defensively, you don't just fail her test, you fail your own discipline. A woman who values emotional depth won't always express herself in words. Sometimes she observes your behavior in silence to determine if you're emotionally safe, if you're consistent, and if your words align with your actions. The pause, the delay, the space, it's not a punishment. It's an opportunity for revelation. And the way you respond during that silence says more about your maturity than anything you could text her in 500 characters. In today's fast-paced culture where everything is instant, from food to feelings, we've lost the beauty of stillness. Social media has conditioned us to crave attention and react quickly. But love, real love, requires the opposite: presence, patience, perspective. When she goes silent, do you immediately double text? Do you scroll her stories, watch who she's with, check if she's online? Or do you sit in that silence with confidence, knowing that your value doesn't disappear just because she's quiet? You see, emotionally grounded men understand something powerful. Not every silence needs to be filled. Not every distance is rejection. Sometimes it's a test of strength, not physical but psychological. The kind of strength that says, "I don't need to chase because I know who I am." There's a quote by Lao Tao that fits perfectly here. He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. If you can master your own reactions, you'll not only pass her deepest test, you'll become a version of yourself that commands respect, not just affection. So the next time she's silent, don't rush in with fear. Don't assume the worst. Let her silence be the mirror that shows you who you are. If you react, you show insecurity. If you respond with grace and patience, you show presence, and that presence is what creates deep emotional safety. Your self-discipline becomes your proof, not just to her, but to yourself. Number 2, your reaction reveals your wounds, not your strength. In moments of silence or emotional pause, your instinct might scream for action, send a message, post a story, demand answers. But let's be real, when you react impulsively, you're not showing strength. You're showing where you still hurt. You're showing your unhealed places. And those wounds, when exposed without consciousness, can sabotage the very connection you want to protect. When she pulls back, even subtly, your first move is your emotional mirror. Do you react out of abandonment, fear, insecurity, or ego? Or do you respond from a place of self-respect and inner calm? That difference makes or breaks trust, not just in her eyes, but in the kind of man you are becoming. Let's say she doesn't respond for a day. If your mind races with stories like she's lost interest, she's with someone else, or I need to get her attention, you're being ruled by old narratives, maybe from past relationships, maybe from childhood, but not from the reality of the present moment. These reactions don't come from love. They come from fear. And here's the truth. A woman who is emotionally intelligent will see through this. She'll feel the anxious energy behind your words. She'll pick up on the desperation between your lines. And slowly, she'll start to question not whether you care, but whether you're ready for the kind of love that requires emotional regulation, not emotional drama. You have to understand, your reaction isn't proof that you care. It's proof of what you haven't healed yet. This is where your growth lives, not in getting her attention, but in understanding your intention. In contrast, when you hold your ground, when you stay calm, grounded and thoughtful, you radiate emotional stability. You show that you don't need her presence to validate your worth. You show that you can love without possession, care without control, and feel without falling apart. There's a quote that hits home here. The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. Jida Krishnamurti. Imagine if, instead of reacting, you simply observed your feelings, sat with them, understood them. That self-awareness is a flex. That's emotional leadership. When you stop reacting and start reflecting, you create space for her to feel your presence even in your silence. And paradoxically, that's when she feels safest to return, not because you chased, but because you didn't. So remember this, your reaction isn't just about her. It's a signal to the universe about what kind of man you are becoming. Choose stillness over panic. Choose depth over drama. And most importantly, choose healing over reacting. Number 3, her test is silent, but your character speaks loudest. One of the hardest truths to swallow is this. Her deepest test isn't something she announces. There's no warning, no countdown, no obvious signal. It's quiet, subtle, invisible. And it's in this invisibility that most men fail. Not because they're bad, but because they're unaware. If she pulls back, doesn't reply as fast, becomes distant or cold, it's rarely about punishment. It's a test, but not of your worth. It's a test of your center. Will you abandon yourself trying to win her back, or will you remain grounded, even in uncertainty? This is not a game, it's a mirror. She's not testing you to break you. She's testing to see you, to see what's real beneath your words, to witness whether you're the kind of man who can remain rooted in his values, even when emotionally challenged. When you chase, panic, beg, or lash out, you're failing the unspoken test. Not because you cared too much, but because you lacked the ability to hold your care with strength. A truly conscious woman, one who's done her own inner work, doesn't need drama or displays. What she's watching for is composure. Will you crumble under silence, or will you carry stillness like a king? Will you respect her need for space, or invade it trying to reassure your ego? Character isn't how you act when everything is good. Character is how you respond when you're uncertain, unseen, and invalidated. This test, this silent pause, is actually your opportunity to rise, to evolve, to prove to yourself, not just to her, that you are no longer ruled by your wounds, that your masculinity is not performance, it's presence. In spiritual psychology, this moment is often called the initiation. It's when a man transcends boyhood by holding himself through emotional discomfort without losing control or abandoning his dignity. And in today's hyper-reactive world, that's rare. A woman may not tell you this directly, but when she senses that you're calm in the chaos, when she sees that you didn't chase validation but instead chose self-reflection, that's when she starts to trust your essence. That's when you pass the test without ever knowing it began. There's a beautiful quote by Lao Tao: "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." Your ability to stay still in the face of silence is you might. So if you feel she's testing you, don't react. Instead, respond to yourself. Ask, who am I becoming in this moment? That question alone can change everything. Because if you pass her silent test, not by doing more but by being more, you don't just win her respect, you win yourself. Number 4. Her stillness is a mirror to your inner chaos. When she doesn't react, when she remains composed, it can be frustrating, almost unbearable. But what if her stillness isn't about ignoring you? What if it's a mirror, reflecting your own unrest, your unhealed wounds, and your emotional impulses? A woman who truly understands her worth does not get pulled into emotional tug-of-wars. She won't scream just because you raised your voice. She won't explain herself 100 times just to be understood. Her silence isn't absence, it's presence. Quiet, confident, grounded presence. And that, for many, is unsettling. You see, most people are used to emotional noise. They equate love with validation, conflict with passion, and reaction with proof of care. But emotional maturity functions differently. It's subtle. It doesn't beg to be seen. It just is. When she stops reacting, it doesn't mean she's given up. It means she's stepped back to observe, not you, but herself, her values, her peace, her needs. And in doing so, she's giving you a choice. Will you rise to meet her stillness with grounded energy, or will you crumble into noise and insecurity? As Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. Her silence isn't weakness, it's discipline, it's clarity, and most of all, it's a test. In her quiet, she is watching if you can sit with discomfort without acting out. Can you hold space without controlling it? Can you hear the silence without needing to fill it? Because if you need chaos to feel connected, you're not ready for conscious love. But if you can meet her stillness with your own, something extraordinary happens. Mutual emotional safety is born. That safety, it's rare, and it only comes when two people stop reacting and start understanding. Number 5. The power of staying centered. When she's watching in silence. Here's something most men never realize. Even when she goes quiet, she's watching. Not your stories, not your photos. She's watching your energy, your composure, your ability to hold yourself together when the emotional bond is no longer your safety net. When a woman pulls away, especially an emotionally intelligent one, she's often not walking away forever. She's observing. She wants to know, do you crumble without her validation? Do you spiral? Or do you remain calm, focused, grounded? Your reaction in her silence tells her everything about your emotional foundation. If you lash out, try to manipulate, or demand her attention, you failed the test, not because you showed emotion, but because you lost your center. And when a man loses his center, a woman loses trust. Think of it like this. When a tree is rooted deeply in the earth, no storm can topple it. Winds can howl, lightning can strike, but it bends. It doesn't break. A woman wants to know, are you that tree? Or are you a leaf blowing with every breeze of emotion? She may pull away, not out of cruelty but curiosity, not to punish but to observe your polarity. Will you chase? Will you fall apart? Or will you honor her space while honoring yourself? Staying centered doesn't mean pretending not to care. It means caring without collapsing. It means allowing the silence to exist without making it mean something dramatic. It means saying to yourself, I'm enough, with or without her response. Your ability to stay centered is your message to her soul. You don't have to worry. I won't burden you with my neediness. I'm not here to take from you. I'm here because I choose to love from a full place. There's a line from Viktor Frankl that captures this perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space, the moment she withdraws, is where most men fail. But if you can pause, feel the emotion without acting out, and choose dignity over desperation, you become unforgettable. You show her not just your love, but your self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. In the end, her silence is not just her test, it's your mirror. It reflects who you are when no one is clapping, texting, or reassuring you. And if who you are in that moment is grounded, clear, and calm, that is the man she'll come back for. Because that is the man she can trust. Conclusion. So now you know, this was never about just her silence. It was about your response to it. In every relationship, especially when love gets deep, there comes a moment where words stop and energy begins to speak. That moment, it's sacred, and how you show up in it reveals your entire character. When she goes silent, she's not punishing you. She's observing your power. And if you react from insecurity, panic, or ego, you've already lost something far more valuable than her attention. You've lost your own self-command. But if you can breathe through it, if you can feel the ache and not lash out, if you can hold your ground and not try to force your presence back into her world, then you've passed the deepest test. That kind of man, rooted, emotionally mature, self-aware, isn't just rare. He's irresistible. She may not say it, but she sees it, she feels it. And even if the silence continues, your strength echoes through it. As the great Rumi once said, raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Let her see your rain, not your storm. If today's video resonated with you, drop a comment below. Tell me what part hit you hardest. And if you're walking through this test right now, stay grounded, King. You're not alone. Please like, share, and subscribe if this gave you clarity or strength. We're just getting started. More soul-deep content is coming your way. Until next time, stay powerful, stay silent, stay true.